Hi, everyone. So, I am sitting at home, really just thinking about and pondering about what in the heck is going on. I can understand people, organizations, governments encouraging people to be vaccinated or to, wear masks in public places. I can see and I can understand organizations really really encouraging people to do that and doing it with zeal. However, I never in my life thought we would get to a point in which the government is threatening people that they either take a drug, a medical drug that they don't want to get willingly, or choose between to choose whether they're going to be employed. Am I still living in the US? I mean, that type of tyranny, that type of abuse, that type of coercion is something that you hear about happening in communist countries, in socialist countries. But you don't hear about that, at least you shouldn't be hearing about stuff like that in the United States. We live in the United States, people. A country that was founded on freedom, on being able to live without the government forcing you to do anything, in which a government is working for the people, not a government that is dictating to the people. There is a difference. And whether you have gone vaccinated or not, whether you are pro-vaccination or COVID vaccination or not, that doesn't matter. The bigger picture is this. The bigger picture is that people should never be forced to accept a medical treatment they don't want to get. Why? Because medical treatments, medical drugs come with potential adverse reactions. And the person has to give their consent. I have been in the medical field for over 20 years now. Okay? Informed consent is not a joke. That means that you tell the person what the potential adverse reactions or effects could be, and then they have to choose. They have to elect that treatment. If I'm going to give someone local anesthetic in their mouth, they need to be aware if there's any type of a potential risk to their health. Even though they're only getting it for dental pain, they need to know if they're going to get a tooth extracted, they're going to get a medical procedure. They need to know, and they need to sign away their rights. They're saying they are electing that, and they understand the potential of the adverse reactions. Now, if the government or your employer is saying, hey, you either accept this or you're going to be fired, well, that's tyranny. How are we going to tell people, hey, you have to either choose to take this medical drug, regardless of whether you want it or not, or you're going to lose your job? You either choose, or you either accept this medical drug, this medical treatment, or you're not going to be allowed. Okay, you're not going to be allowed to provide for your family, to pay for your bills, to, keep your home, because you're going to be terminated. What the hell is going on? This is something that no one, whether you were vaccinated or not, should go along with and be okay. We have to be vocal. We have to say, no, there's something terribly wrong here. This This is not okay. It's not okay. You cannot threaten people and tell them that either they take a medical treatment that they don't want or they're going to be forced out of their job. Those are not principles that this country was founded on. Regardless of whether they have a religious reason or not. Why should people have a religious reason of whether they want to get a drug or not? If they can make exceptions for people with religious reasons, then they should be able to make exceptions for people with conscious reasons that they don't want it just because they don't feel safe getting it yet. Maybe they will in the future, but not now. But why should those people choose between getting a medical treatment they don't want and their job? This is terrible. We can't just sit back and be okay with this. This is concerning. This is an attack on the working class. If you have a job, this is an attack on you. This is an attack on us. It's an attack on the working class. If they have the nerve to tell people that are working, professionals, students, mom and pop businesses, if they have the right, if the government thinks they have the authority to force people to take a medical treatment that they don't want, what makes you think that later on they're not going to sanction other people? They're not going to sanction the people on Medicaid as well and say, well, if you want your Medicaid check, then you better get the jab. Or tell the people that are getting financial aid, well, if you want to keep your financial aid, you better get injected. Or people that are on welfare get food stamps. If the government has already those people in their pocket. But yet, they want to mandate a drug on people just because they're not ready to take the vaccine. This is wrong. What do you think? You think it's okay? What other medical treatments are we going to force on people? We're going to force people to take birth control if they don't want it? Shoot. There's some people that should be stopped from having kids because they're just having kid after kid after kid after kid after kid from 1,000 different men, and they're living on welfare their whole life. Or they're on drugs their whole life, but yet they continue to pop out kids. Should those people be sterilized against their will? What's the difference? Or how about people that have a cancer? Should they be forced to take chemo and radiation if they don't want it? What if they just want to accept their fate and say, you know what, I trust God. If he calls me home, then he calls me home. And if not, and he allows me to live, then I'm allowed to live. But what other medical treatments will the government try to force on the people of this country? I never in my life thought we would get to this point. Never. I was like, I think it's fair for medical providers to encourage and to talk to their patients. But once you start talking about mandates to take a drug, to force people to choose between their livelihood and feeding their families and keeping their homes. So people are okay with that. There's organizations that are okay with firing people, good people, hardworking people, maybe people that have been with them for years. They're okay with firing people if they don't accept a drug, to be injected with a drug that they don't want. Shouldn't those people's right to choose medical treatment be respected? The vaccination is not a cure. The vaccination does not prevent you from getting COVID. I know plenty of people that have been vaccinated, fully vaccinated, that have gotten COVID. Shouldn't the right to choose medical treatment be up to the individual without coercion, without threat? I say yes. It's their right to choose. If people want to choose to take a risk to get COVID and potentially die, that is their right. That's their right. If employers want to mandate mask wearing 100% of the time forever, fine. So be it. But where does the government get off? Where does the government get off telling people, forcing employers to mandate vaccines, forcing them because now there's reports of the government potentially sanctioning organizations that get state funds if they don't mandate the vaccine to their employees? How is that even right? This can't be allowed. This can't be okay. It can't be accepted. This is wrong. Think about this. It's deeper. It's deeper than just, people should get vaccinated. Well, yeah. That's how you feel about it. But they're relevant. Your feelings are relevant. There's other people that feel very strongly that they don't want to get vaccinated now, maybe later, maybe never. But that's their right to choose their medical treatment and to accept or reject any potential adverse reactions or effects. That's their right. We need to really think about this as a community, as a government, as employers, as employees. This is bad.